What's going on, everyone? My name is Robbie Holmes from Already Famous Collective. This podcast serves to track our journey as we work our way to the top. If you have a passion for making music and would like to turn that passion into a living, we would love to get in contact with you as we're constantly in search of talented new artists to join us. Please reach out to us across social media at Already Famous Collective if your dream is to make music for a living. Today, on the first ever Already Famous podcast, we would like to cover the very beginnings of the collective and what we are aiming to achieve. Joining me is founder and producer TJ Sharetta.
I'm actually curious about hearing you answer these.
Hearing mine?
Yeah, just because what is Already Famous is a question that we both want to answer differently.
That is.
I think so. I think it is.
But how would you answer that? What is Already Famous?
I mean, I think it's like the idea that we started was a music collective, which it is obviously, but I think over time it starts like that, but it would be like eventually it also we make music, we work, that's our thing, but it becomes like almost a brand.
Yeah.
Like I think like it could almost branch off to apparel and stuff like that.
Merchandise, I think is like the biggest thing.
I think so. I do think so because.
And stuff. You know how Nelk does. I mean, they expanded to a podcast. I think we should start doing that.
That's my thing. Yeah. That's why the whole thing, like starting it, was almost. It sounds like how Internet Money started, but it's really almost not even the same thing entirely. We make music. We aim to make music that goes on the radio. Like producers, that's the number one thing.
Yeah.
But there's also so much more. I think Internet Money could do more with. I would buy Internet Money clothes and stuff. I just don't.
They have
do
merchandise. Yeah. It's like kind of crazy.
Because I don't think they even market that very well. But there's a whole lot of money sitting in that I think they could market way better.
They really don't, because I never see anyone wearing it, and also I didn't know it was a thing until I went on their website. And I went on their website, and it's like a separate, their website and their store is
isn't that like a game?
Yeah, it's a game, and the store is within the website, and it's like not. I just think that that's something that should be like at the forefront. I mean, the music is a big thing, but it needs to be more well-rounded, where you're reaching out to.
That's why Already Famous is a music collective, but is also more of a brand.
Yeah.
Because when you listen to if Nick Mira and a bunch of them were just had a podcast.
Oh,
and they had a famous artist on every week and did a podcast, I would totally listen to
it. And they easily could get such interesting people. It's it'd be so easy for them to get Lil Baby or literally anyone that they wanted to ever. Anyone they're making music for, they could just bring on the podcast and just talk. Those are the type of people that you want to know what they have to say. You want to know. I mean, that's what I think about us too. That's what I think. I think
we're very entertaining.
I think so
individuals, too. But we just. I mean. We're just getting started, so it's only a matter of time. But I do think people would be. I think people would be interested in sitting down and hearing us.
I think so too. That's why I think we. I mean, that's kind of what we started. I think, right? Started filming everything.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That is why we started filming everything.
Because it's just the stuff that happens randomly throughout the day, or when we're in the studio. I think that in the studio stuff is some of the best that we've captured.
Not even captured. I just think it's the best time. I have fun when we.
I think it's great, yeah. I mean, I've definitely said that before. I think it's just so. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's fun.
It's one of my favorite things. What about goals? Goals for the next year. I said 1 year, but we could also talk about 5 years down the road, or where the end goal is. I don't know.
I think the best thing for us is we have goals together, and we also have individual goals.
Yeah.
Because that will do so much more. But for Already Famous, obviously. My thoughts of the goals changed because originally the main goal, remember, we were trying to get people to join us.
Yeah.
But then I started to think, and we talked about it before, that we already have the guys to get it rolling, to get it started. And even if we never got somebody else again to join us, I still think we have guys that would good enough guys.
I think so too, just for content or whatever. But we're talking
about the goals for Already Famous.
And I think you're right. I think it definitely changed. I don't think we were gonna need anyone else really. That's what
we thought originally, that we were gonna have to go out. No, people. We thought we were gonna have to go out.
Goals.
Oh.
Oh, it's my bad.
And initially, I think the goal was to get as many artists into the collective as possible. But now I think it's to build the brand.
I think we have the guys to build the brand without other people.
We don't need anyone else, I don't think.
Yeah. No, that works, yeah. But you can do it either way.
I think so too. I mean,
I don't think there's really like a bad way to go about it.
I always think of Nelk just because they did such a good job with it. Like they were literally
they built it up from like what, 3 guys, 4 guys?
Yeah.
3 guys.
All they did was pranks.
I don't think they have anything different than we have. 4 creative guys, 5 creative guys. Well,
yeah,
but
they do some bad stuff.
It's pranks versus we're not pranks.
But that's what you got to go about it. Like you're saying, like they did something sick and they kept rolling with it, and people thought it was so funny and everything. Boom. But you don't have to do it like funny, but like you just gotta.
And I almost
make
don't
something that people like.
I almost don't know if I would want to do, like, because Nelk, when they got famous, they started adding a bunch of new people. I don't even think I don't
even have any new people.
Steve was not a part of.
But Steve was already famous.
Steve was almost like. He was still very early on at Nelk.
No, he was not early on in Nelk. He was early on in Nelk before they got as big as they are now, but Nelk was out for years before Steve ever joined.
But it was never nearly as big before Steve joined.
But I thought he was bigger than Nelk before. Yeah, like before they got big, he was
bigger.
Well, they both were like medium big, and they became huge joining together.
Yeah.
Same with Bradley. Like I don't think Bradley
wasn't big.
Bradley
he was.
But he came in with not nearly as big.
He was big
for. He was actually like
not for the. Like,
no, but he came in
big
with
for lifting. I thought.
Yeah,
he was big for lifting.
But he came in with Steve pretty much. He was like almost not even like a year after Steve. Like he was like right there.
I just think if.
But that was it. That's all they added. They didn't add anybody else. Salim was always like they're all those guys were all there.
They had that guy 905 too, but they like dropped him. I don't remember why.
Yeah, 90 got.
I don't remember.
He got. Did you not watch? I watched it like from the very beginning, so I get.
Ones.
Oh well, that's how long they were out.
They've been out since like what 2017 or something.
No, way before that.
No, but like actually out, like meaning.
I don't know what actually out means, but.
Like doing actual videos.
They were making videos on YouTube.
They got big in like 2019, 2020.
They were making videos before that.
I just think that it should almost be like a mix between what Nelk is doing and what Internet Money is doing, because if Internet Money did the same thing with merchandise that Nelk does, and like they do the drops and they drop a bunch of stuff and it's limited, everyone goes on there and they all want to buy it, and they make like
Internet Money is.
Hundreds of thousands.
Well, that's my point. You don't know what Internet Money is because they don't market themselves. They just make good music, and you have to like that.
Those are two different type of branding.
That's what I'm saying.
They do good on their own because they do good on their own just because they're making good music. They don't need anything. That's all they are.
They don't need anything.
They want to just be that.
They don't. Yeah, they don't need that. But
I
think
anything else except that.
There's a lot of money waiting for them if they would. They definitely have enough money.
They don't want to sell themselves out.
They could hire a whole marketing team.
That wouldn't be a sellout though.
Some people don't. But they probably think it's selling themselves out because all they want to be known for is boom, making music. They want nothing else to do with it. That's the only reason they do it that way.
I mean, I think I'd want
to. But more companies do that than you think. That they're like, I'm not like blown. Like this is what I believe in, and I'm sticking with it.
I think if Internet Money started selling shirts, nobody would think of them as an apparel.
Like using an example, there's like Tootsie Roll Pops. They haven't changed. They haven't changed the old style stuff because they want to stick as the old style.
I wouldn't think of them as sellouts either, but regardless of what they want to do for already famous, I don't know what you think, but
for us,
I think like a 5-year goal should be like we're doing everything and we're doing music and. We're as big as Nelk in terms of like we're releasing merch and everyone just wants to buy it.
I think that's I agree with that.
I don't know where else we can go from there, but
maximizing ways to make money. We can make money in way more ways than just music, even though music's the main goal.
It is, but
money.
It can go so many other ways.
Maybe on the gambling side of it. Who's that one music guy who gambles? The one dude who's
an artist that gambles?
He's that freestyler, dude. No, he's
like a well-known artist who gambles, or like just a guy?
He was one of the dudes. I think he's a producer. He does stuff with
Aiden.
He gambles his face off.
Are you sure about that?
That's all he does. You ever watched his videos? They're hysterical.
That's the other thing that I've been thinking about too, like comedy stuff. Like not necessarily skits, but
I think it's the opposite. I think it's the opposite of what Mike said. We're selling ourselves short if we don't do all the stuff we can do.
Do everything. Diversify as much as possible.
We're actually sellouts if we don't. Well, you said Internet Money would be sellouts if they did
I'm not
that.
I'm saying they believe that they'd be selling out on what they only care about.
Yeah, I know, and I'm saying
But you're completely different. That's your mindset.
Yeah.
Well,
that's just their mindset. That's why they don't want to ever
I said my mindset is opposite of what you just said. That's true.
And
you said you're the opposite of what I said, meaning like I thought you were saying I was
The
saying
opposite
don't
of
do
what you just said is my mindset for
actually,
this.
I think you should do that.
I think
Well, no,
you
I
should do
know.
as many things as possible.
I totally agree.
Well-rounded. It should be a brand.
Like you said, why do you think Milk's so fucking good at it? They do everything.
But I wouldn't think of it as like it's not just the brand and it's not just the music collective, but it's both, and they're both like working together. And because I think the merch stuff we really got down to it.
I think the name goes.
You know what the number one example
The
is?
name
So
could be the
is Barstool. Barstool did
They
everything.
don't do music though.
No, but they did blackout parties.
They
Do
don't.
you remember
make,
that stuff?
They don't
They
produce
used to
music.
do the craziest shit just to get themselves known. They actually
but
had
they don't produce
they had a
music.
blackout tour, and it was just a crazy party for college kids to come to.
I mean, that has nothing to do with producing music though.
No, I'm not producing, but Nelk doesn't produce music. You guys were saying no too. I'm just saying.
That's why we're saying it's more than that.
I'm saying they could do. I'm just saying like Barstool just said did everything.
Yeah.
Literally everything he could do, he did.
Well, yeah, I think it needs to be a well-rounded thing. I think it needs to be everything.
And he's a genius.
Well, but the thing that's different with him, and that I think is going to be different with us, is Barstool doesn't make music like we make music.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, if you guys ever extend it out to like random things, like
I think we should extend out to as many random
guy
things as
who's a random
possible.
huge gambler and has thousands of thousands of thousands of views.
I mean, I'm not like huge into the gambling thing.
No, I'm just
I
saying.
don't think that's a great thing, but
I'm just saying like you see how like he just branched out to something just like little like on the side and like makes a ton of views off it. Not doesn't have to be gambling.
Because they can.
Yeah.
That's the same thing with the Nelk podcast. They started that podcast and they already had millions of people tuning in and listening to it.
So many.
And they had
they're good
some of the biggest celebrities ever already on their podcast. Like that's nuts.
That's what Barstool got big. They just started doing whatever they wanted.
They do podcasts. They do streams while they're watching games and betting and talking about stuff, and everyone just watches them watch the game.
Yeah.
Like that's the most nuts thing ever.
No, they
watch
funny.
Big Cat and they're funny too, but we're funny. I think people.
No, I'm just saying like that's why people. I actually genuinely enjoy watching their podcast. Like I love their podcast. Watching Big Cat, I think is fucking hysterical. I think PFT is hysterical. I think Dave's hysterical. I think what's his name is so funny. The gambling guy, fucking Stu Feiner. I think he's so funny.
Is it a podcast though, or is it are you talking about the stream of them watching the game?
I don't watch.
Don't they stream
They
it?
do that. That is funny to
Yeah.
watch. They usually just take clips of it and post them on like TikToks and stuff because when they go nuts,
Yeah.
they're hysterical when they're going nuts.
I'm sure. I mean,
Because they're gambling their faces off.
Have you seen the guys that are in the room in there? You guys like go nuts
Oh,
on
we go
the TV.
insane. You have to see me in the Jet game.
I think people would want to tune in and watch us.
Watch us like do anything, make beats, watch games, gambling, talking about like random stuff like that. I think we should do all of it. And I think we can get more people, but it's like it's not necessary really.
It's not. No.
Oh, you don't need more people yet.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Well, because that's what our
You see
original
interesting people.
first
You
goal
got- You have
was.
3 very interesting people in this room.
Yeah. And like.
And an interesting guy out there, and interesting guys at the other.
Corey's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I think everyone
I want Miller in the gambling part. I want him watching the game and
Yeah,
always
he
talking
can't,
about
but he-
gambling. I don't know. Do you have any other goals? Any other goals that you guys can think of?
Yeah.
I
You
think
can get a good political guy.
that's one thing that will
I
not
still
No
never
politics.
do.
I want
Politics
no
will
politics.
never be a part of this.
Good, because
I
I
will
hate
never
politics.
want that to be a part of it.
That's my dream job right there.
I think they're dumb. I think politics is dumb.
I would love to
I would
see
never
Crowder's,
want-
like,
I almost couldn't
Dumb.
stomach posting a podcast where people talk about politics.
We can't. I don't think that should be a thing.
I don't want that to be a thing.
Because then, and not only for this, but you
cuts
take
out part of the people I know.
a whole half of people that you just they hate you because
Absolutely shit on
these
them.
are your political views.
I respect that. No, it's not a view, it's a fact.
Okay. Enough. The next thing I said was what type of artist were you aiming to attract, but I was sort of thinking of like for your beats, like who do you want to be listening to your beats? Or I mean, who do you want to be making music out of your beats? Like rapping over them? I know you do this.
Oh, I don't even like have a care for that. I just, even if like I don't like their music in real life, but they wanted to work and have a beat, I would obviously do it.
But they'd have to be like good artists, right?
Oh
Would you sell a beat
I
to a
would-
guy
I
who you
don't
think
think-
would make a bad song out of it?
I don't think I would necessarily ever turn down business if they're a paying customer, but Guys who I want to work with would obviously be like already have a huge following, and then even say it's like a huge following, like someone like tons of people like Playboy Cardi. I'm not the biggest fan of Playboy Cardi, but if Playboy Cardi wants to be, I would obviously do that.
Yeah.
So I don't have like a.
I get that.
You shouldn't have a preference.
Well, because maybe some people do though.
Yeah, when you get big, you have a preference.
I disagree with that too.
Humongous, you could have a preference.
I disagree with any big producer that turns down like if you look and they have a little less followers than you don't work with them. I think that's
what they want to do. They're big. They already made it. They can do what they want.
I
When you don't make it, I don't think you should be stingy.
Stingy?
I think that's wrong. I think that's actually wrong. I would never do that.
Never do what?
Like bigger guys thinking they can't work with upcoming artists because they're too big for them. I think that's the dumbest thing.
Well, a lot of guys don't do that. A lot of guys, like Polo G with Scory, he wasn't big, and he said, I think you're very talented. I
think there's also some guys out there who are only really exclusive with who they work with because either they don't trust somebody else, or they don't want to pay somebody else, or they don't want to be associated with a lesser act.
But I don't think you really do that. I think you can be associated with anyone as long as they make music that people like.
Yeah.
Even if they're like unheard of, I think in that case it would be guys who you can tell have talent, because I think we can totally tell someone who has talent.
Yeah, I think we're good at that.
It's like pretty easy to kind of decipher that.
It is. I think it's pretty easy. Yeah.
What has been the most difficult aspect of getting started? So I was thinking about all the stuff that we've been trying to do, filming and making beats, and you're saying that. I mean, sometimes you bring up the sounds, and it like is very expensive to get new sound.
Well, that was my old thought though. It is expensive to get like
good
Omnisphere or something like that, or Nexus, but I'm starting to feel like it almost doesn't even matter what sounds you have, because you can, if you're a good enough producer, you can make not like the wildest sound ever, but a mediocre sound into a good beat. I feel like.
Yeah.
If you know what you're doing.
Not even that, but like I've seen a lot of the streams that Nick Muir puts out, or like the videos that he puts out. It's like he's changing the sound. It doesn't even sound like the initial sound. Because he messes with it and makes it sound better.
I need to learn more about like the sound designing sounds.
Yeah. Even if you take a bass one and like the raw sound that they give you and kind of morph it or change it, I don't know what that is.
EQing is a big help for something.
EQing, I've been doing that more, right?
I've been doing that more. I've always done it, but I've been like going out of my way to do it now.
And I think that's
even if I don't think it's necessary, I'm like.
Yeah.
Third, you gotta find a way to make money first to invest that into getting better stuff.
Well, no, I don't think. Well, yeah, obviously, when you make money, you buy better sounds, but my number one goal right now is not to buy sound.
Your number one goal right now is should be making a certain amount of money to be able to buy.
No, my number one goal is getting the brand a huge following.
I think it's building the brand.
You get that, but you gotta somehow get that money by doing that.
But when you build the brand, the money is gonna come in.
Money comes when you grow.
We need to build the brand. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I think that's number one.
Yeah, but you can't build millions of followers first. It's a very slow process.
Well, I'm not gonna wake up tomorrow and have 1 million followers, but I don't need to buy all the crazy big
whatever you get the
plugins to get followers.
You don't have to.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm not gonna have these for the rest of my life, but that's not the number one priority. To get plugins.
That can't be. That can't really be your goal.
That's not the number one priority. The number one priority is getting better gear and shit.
No. The number one priority is
huge if you don't have good enough gear.
You 100%.
Are you nuts? There's guys on TikTok with hundreds of thousands of followers, and all they do is lift up their phone and say something funny. You watch the same guys every day.
I'm saying if you want to do it for music reasons.
I also disagree. I totally disagree.
Yeah, then we've agreed to disagree.
I think the beats that you're making right now could make a ton of money. I don't think it has anything to do with the sounds, like the quality of the beats that come out. It has to do with the sounds, but the better you get at using those sounds, you're gonna make money off them. Like.
Yeah, I'm not worried about getting new sounds.
Sounds are sound.
Like that.
But I'm saying the number one priority should be getting making
No,
some type
it's
of money
not.
to get new sounds.
Number one priority
things,
is build
so
the
you can
brand.
actually make more money. Business has stepping stones to it.
You can build
You
a brand
can't
with
have
$0.
100 employees in a 20-person building.
Not true. I could sell you a pen, you can't sell me a pen. So
You're
I can build a
gonna
brand.
sell me a cock. Alright, ready? But if you need, how are you fitting 100 employees in a 25-person building? Like,
well, lucky for us, we don't even need 10 employees.
Structure. You can't build a house without foundation.
We're in a house right now. We have employees in the house.
You can't build a second floor without the first floor.
First floor is right here.
You're actually.
I think if the beats were taken away completely, if the beats were taken away completely, and we were no longer a music collective, and it was just a brand, I think we could find a way to build it up.
You don't need to spend any money to do any of this.
But for music.
That's not true. No.
Yes, it is.
I think it naturally gets better as you go.
Yeah.
But if you're a guy who's
so you think all these guys that are famous producers, they just spend thousands of dollars?
No, if they just have what you have right now, they wouldn't be nearly as good.
You think Nick Mira was just spending thousands of dollars in high school on the things that he made?
Did pretty well, and then got crazy shit after Juice WRLD went off and got crazy stuff and became unbelievable. Now it's so much now he's unbelievable. If he didn't have that stuff,
the point was he got big.
He might have actually had real stuff at that time. You might have. You have no idea. Why can't you look that up?
If you come on here and make a beat, then I'll believe that. But
I think it's about this. It's about the skill. It's not about.
It's about the skill, but you need. If I have a shitty bow and arrow, and I'm good at shooting a bow, and I just keep missing because the bow fucking sucks, it's just the way it is.
That's just an excuse, I think.
No, but if the bow fucking sucks and they can't shoot straight because it's fucked up.
And we also don't even have it. This is not a.
But if then I give you a beautiful bow and you're still a great shooter and you're just nailing right down the middle every time, it's like boom.
Well, that's where the
excuse.
Miscommunication happens because we don't have a bad bow. We
we
have an average bow.
Average bow.
And you can get kills with an average bow.
You still get kills with an average bow, but you can't be 100% with an average bow or a perfect bow.
You're really losing me right now. I don't know what you're trying to
explain.
explain.
That was a worse analogy than I tried to put it as. You guys kind of looked
You've totally lost me.
Supposed to be.
You've totally
lost me. It's supposed to be like a bat and a bow, almost like hitting.
I can hit nukes with
if a guy can swing it, he can swing it.
You can.
Because.
But then if I give you a cracked bat, it ain't going nearly as far as that.
This is not an in-half
bat.
No,
compared
it's
to
not.
A beautiful bat, that's a cracked bat.
Oh my God, no, it's not.
That's
absolutely not.
It's a less quality. It's
like me giving you a composite or a BB core. You're gonna hit the ball way farther with the composite than the BB core.
It's a velo, not a voodoo. It's not a broken wood bat versus a beater.
Why do you think that we have the bottom of the barrel going on?
It's not bottom of the barrel, but I'm saying that should be the first priority, is making money so you can get better equipment, so you can make better beats.
Well,
so people can take you more serious.
I think
it's being taken very seriously.
People can take you more serious.
All right.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but I think you're looking at it the wrong way, because you're saying the number one goal is to make money so you can do this, but it needs to be build the brand and make money, and as you're making money, you get better stuff, and it keeps improving.
But that should be the first thing you go after when you start building the brand and making money. That should be the first thing you do.
I think that's the biggest thing right now.
Well, that would mean it's priority after building the brand, so then I would agree with you.
Building the brand is always the first priority, because you can't make money without building the brand. But you can't make money without building the brand.
So we need to build the brand. That's what
I already said it goes hand in hand.
So number one priority
then it has to go straight towards that.
But number one priority is building a brand.
That's how you can't make money if you don't have a brand.
Well, then why'd you say that?
I literally said before, we said it went hand in hand. Me and Bob literally looked at each other and said it goes hand in hand.
It goes hand in hand, but the number one priority is building
right
the brand.
after that.
It's not even hand in hand. The brand welcomes in the money. You don't have money and then all of a sudden you get a big brand out of nowhere. The brand gets built up and then you make money. So that's number two to making
money goes hand in hand with making the brand.
So it's 1A and 1B because that's wrong.
No, they're exactly the same.
It's not 1 and 1. It's build up the brand, then you start getting paid. So it's number two. Is that you're telling me that's wrong?
You know what goes hand to hand means? If you don't build the brand, you ain't gonna have money. If you build the brand, you're gonna have money. That goes hand in hand.
Oh my gosh! The thing was, what is the number one priority? And number one
is making the money
No.
Building the brand.
Building the
It's
brand.
the same thing.
No, it's not.
I'm saying, I don't understand what you guys are. You guys hear what I'm saying? Building the brand is getting the money.
Which means the money
Then
comes
the first
after
thing when
the
you
brand
do when you get to
is
that is
built
go
up.
after that.
The foundation isn't the money. The foundation is building the brand.
The foundation, yeah, that's the foundation. That's putting
So
the
that's
cement
the
in.
number
Then
one
how you building?
step.
How you building the first floor? Getting
First
new
floor
equipment.
comes after the foundation, which
And
means the first
This is
floor
all foundation
is
right
second.
now. Everything you have is foundation work.
So that's number one priority.
Everything you have is foundation. And then you have to build the foundation.
I don't.
Now you have to build the brand foundation so you can build the first floor.
You're
Without
losing me
foundation,
now.
you can't build the first floor.
You're losing me now because you're saying that we need new equipment to build the brand, but we don't at all.
That's not what I'm saying.
You're saying money. You're saying money is the biggest.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, making money is building the brand. It goes hand in hand. You can do it in
Brand,
limited amount what
money
you have
comes
right
in.
now. You can do a limited amount. So
I
with that
disagree
limited
with
amount,
that.
the money
That's
you
where we're
get,
disagreeing.
First
I
thing it
disagree
should
with
go towards after you make the limited money that you can fully succeed is right to that, so you can have a better. So if I'm working at a company and I have manual labor doing things, and I save up money, and I bring in a contraption, I can do the same exact thing as that, 30 times faster this, and now everything's easier. You make more money because it expands. If you get better equipment, that's how you expand the business. You can't just. I'm saying first thing you do is when you're building everything, when you have to get the money, when it's right after you're building the brand, like you guys said, and making the money that goes hand in hand, it should go right towards getting equipment. First thing by far.
Sure.
What else would it go to, Barry?
That making the money is the second priority. That's all I'm saying.
You can't build. If you build a brand,
This
and there's
brand-
no money. There's no fucking brand.
This brand could have hundreds of thousands of people following us.
And you
within
have
a
no
year.
money, that would be nothing.
Within a year,
You're
we
worthless.
can get 100,000 plus followers without ever spending another dollar.
That's fine, but
That's building.
But you
the
also
brand.
could have 500 more thousand if you bought this
You're
stuff.
talking about expanding, not building. Building is different than expanding the brand. Building the brand we could do right
That is
now
how
with
you
what we
build.
have.
No, but that's how you build.
You can't
Expanding-
expand without
That's not
building.
expanding is going outside to a different thing. That's just building. Expanding is going outside to, like, if you want to go outside of gambling. That's expanding. That's building if you get more.
You're talking about expanding, like if you were to expand on this house
not
and build a
expanding.
porch when there was no house here and there was just a porch, that would be nuts.
It's not expanding.
Building
No,
an
but I'm
expansion
saying what
onto a
I'm
house.
saying has nothing to do with expanding. That's building.
I don't think we need a single dollar to a massive following. We just need a camera, which we own, and we
You can't
need
have a massive following without
FL
having a dollar.
Studio. FL Studio we own, and we have this studio we're sitting in that we own, and we have this speaker that we own, and we have a YouTube and an Instagram and a TikTok and a Twitch that we own. So what else will we need to buy? Number
I'm
one
saying
priority, if
outside
you
of-
asked me to write down to achieve every goal for Already Famous that is possibly out there, number one on the list, top of the page, is build a following, and that's what number
Build
one
a
is.
following, getting money.
Getting
That's number
money
one.
is not the main focus. We need people to see us before we can make money, which means building it is number one, and then making money comes after that, which is number two.
Okay.
We can't make
But-
money right now with 0 people even hearing anything we do.
If you want to add those first things in, sure, you can go getting followers, money, instantly to getting that. But if you want to add that in a business plan, you don't add that in actual business plans. That's not a real thing you add in the business plan.
Well, then thank God this isn't a business plan that I have to type for class, because this is just coming out of my head. But I'm saying that we can build hundreds of thousands of followers without
Very
ever
good.
spending another dollar.
Yes, but
So that's why we don't have to
How
focus
are
on making
you-
money, because that'll come as the second thing after the first priority, which is building a huge following, happens. Then you make money.
Money
Number
and
one is
then
building.
equipment.
Number two is getting paid. It's going to happen. It just has to happen after we build the brand. Number two is getting paid. Number one is making a way to get paid, which is building it up.
you have to find a way to get paid, even if it's not
No
from
kidding.
certain ways.
That's
like,
number two, though.
yeah, if you,
Building
but that's also a big.
Building it up is finding a
way.
way to make money, which we already know how we're going to make money. We have to have people see it to be interested in it. We know how we're going to make money already. People have to hear about it to buy something. People have to hear about it to be interested in something. So you build it, you let them see it, then you make money.
So that's why I'm trying to tell him that there's a certain level you can get to with the stuff we have now, that you need to be able to make money to upgrade to get to another level.
I didn't think that you were saying that before at all. So
I think you didn't start with that, but
I misunderstood you. That's all.
Thank you. Then we're good.
That's correct. I think that is totally correct. That when we start making money through building the brand, because that I think is the number one thing. We need to build a brand in order to make money. When we make money, I think it would be to our benefit to buy better equipment so we can film, so we can make better beats. So you can
it would be to our benefit, but that's not how we build it up.
The number one thing after making money.
So if you sell out and buy all this stuff with 0 followers, then how does that help you out?
The number one thing. Wait.
Wait, he knows
exactly what I'm saying.
The number one thing after we build the brand.
2 things can't be number one, by the way. 2 things can't be number one.
So that's not my point, TJ. My point is, I think he just fully caught what I'm saying now.
Because it makes sense, but he's saying, you're saying it's number one, but we're thinking about building the brand right now. Building the brand is number one.
That's always number one.
There can't be.
Has to be number one. There's no other side.
And you did say that before, but then you're saying the number one needs to be making money, so that the number one is so we can buy the equipment.
Building the brand and money, like I said, go ahead.
Oh no, they don't. That's where the if
you're building the brand, making no money, it's not doing anything.
This is where the issue
is. And you're not going to make money.
I'm even going to stand on my chair.
They have to go hand in hand.
Oh, they don't go hand in hand.
And then when you make the money off of building the brand,
they don't. They just don't.
Like what you said, like when you make the money off of building the brand,
I need
it has to go first to the new. First thing you have to do, it has to go right to the equipment.
Yeah, you buy a new bow and
right there. Thank you. I don't know why you.
It's more long term. Some of the things you were saying before just seemed like
the analogies
were out of line. So I was a little confused. I guess I don't know.
You fully have it now. You fully got what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I think we've all been saying the same thing in a different way, kind of.
Exactly. That's why I was so confused. Why you keep? You
guys kept
saying it back to me. That I was just like, I am saying the exact same thing that you guys are saying.
Okay.
But
we're all on the same page.
But him, on the other hand, he actually doesn't believe he needs to get new equipment ever.
That's not what I said. Check the tape.
Okay.
You better check the tape.
We're gonna check the tape. What do you think you would do? Let's say 3 months down the road, we've gained a following and we have a substantial amount of money.
Substantial is the key word. Yes.
What are we gonna do?
Obviously, if we have substantial money,
$2,000. What are you doing?
Then
what are you doing with $2,000?
$2,000 can't even buy Nexus, so that's out of the question.
What are you doing with $2,000?
Let's say we have 15K.
This is like, you can't just determine this, because I would look right now and say, where are we struggling? We have a lot of followers on TikTok, not enough on YouTube. So that means we need to upgrade whatever we make YouTube with. Better camera, better podcast mic. We need to upgrade that. If we have a bunch of followers and we're not making any money with music, then we buy better. I don't even think, I think the main thing about selling music is getting people to hear it and like it or not like it. I don't think people can even tell when they hear a beat how expensive the sound was. That's just not even a thing.
It's how to make better sounds. You don't have sounds that other people have. That's a huge disadvantage.
I know I don't have all those expensive plugins, but I don't think I need those to compete.
Your gig right now that you're going to have to make money off is I can make good sounds without good equipment.
And I think that's more valuable than having everything in front of you and just being able
that has to be your gig right off the bat, but then when you want to actually...
but I don't think that's like a gig.
That's more like... No, but that's your gimmick, sorry.
I don't think that's a gimmick, because
that is a gimmick.
A lot of people can do that.
But they can't make them as good as you. That's your gimmick. That's how you get people to like you.
I agree, because I think that could be a thing early on. Right now, what we're trying to do, you're making these beats for $0. That's like... the ones that you're making, I don't think are just anyone can do that.
I agree.
That's
your gimmick.
I mean, I think
you
also
could call it a gimmick.
You start realizing that when you sit down and try and do it, though.
It's like your hook.
What do you mean?
Like, I feel like if you sat down, or someone who's never seen it, and tried to make a beat, you would say, oh, maybe that is a little more impressive than I originally thought.
That's what I'm saying.
I completely noticed that
when you started. That's what I'm saying. When you just started doing it, you probably thought, oh wow, this is a little harder than I thought. Maybe you didn't. I don't know.
I don't want to say I took it for granted what you were doing, but I appreciate it much more now, because what you're doing is insane. Because every single beat that I tried to make was a jazz beat. all jazz beats. They all came out and they sounded just like a grand piano, like something that would be played in church. Like they were all so nuts. So I think that could be a thing that you could leverage. It's a leverage point. Like I'm making beats for $0 with what is it called? What is it?
Flex.
With
Flex.
You're using Flex.
Citrus.
We'll call it minimal money, and you're making insane beats. Like people don't do that. I don't think. I don't think.
I think people
I don't know why you don't think that
I think
that has to
but
be your gimmick.
But I just think
from the beginning, not like until.
I think also any person that has some sort of fame, like even the lower internet money guys, can make a beat out of those easily, like not even a question.
But that's because they're
way
not
further
along
doing
down the road than us.
Yeah, if they're using real crazy, they're not gonna go with it. But they're using crazy equipment right now, so people aren't looking at them. People are gonna be like, oh shit, I want to get something cheap. How do I do this? Who can I watch on this? Because I can't do what Nick Miro's doing right now. And then they see you and they're like, sick, I can get that fucking application. How is he doing that? And they watch you and they're like, wow, that's fucking cool. That's the gimmick.
I think if you want to call it a gimmick, but I think that is a good way to put in perspective what you're doing right now. And I don't even think that people are gonna say, oh, these beats are good, but they're not as good as Internet Money's. But it's these beats are as good as Internet Money's, and he's using this equipment.
I mean, we don't even know. We've never had like barely anyone else hear these beats.
But if you like.
No, but we have no views on anything. Nobody really even
Another
knows.
guy though, but you're making them, and if I thought they were garbage, I would say they're garbage, but I don't think they are. I've heard Internet Money's beats. Some of them are stupid. I think some of those are bad. I think some of yours are better than
the ones that are on
the Billboard Top 100.
I also think it's not like that. I don't think it's like people make it seem like what these guys do is so almost unreachable or so hard to do, but I think a lot of people can produce songs, and they do. There's so many random people that get placements just by being found on YouTube or something, because it's really almost more about being consistent and being consistently making good beats than it's hard to make a good beat.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And you just have to get the exposure, which is why building is so important, because I think if a lot of people heard them, decent amount of them would like them, but we just haven't had a lot of people hear them yet. We really haven't had anyone outside of us hear most of this.
So that's why I think Mike was trying to say something else differently, but right now we need people. We need people to hear them.
Yes.
And we need people, that's it. We need to build a brand. We need people to hear what's going on. But people aren't hearing what's going on because we don't have that aspect yet. But if we have that aspect and we get that down pat, it's going to take off. But right now, nobody's hearing it because we're not marketing right and we're not building the brand correctly.
We're just not.
Not that we're not doing it correctly, but
there's nothing yet.
Well, there is something wrong because we are kind of inconsistent, and that is what will hold us back.
But I'm saying we don't have anything yet.
I think that will.
And it's not that we've necessarily been inconsistent on purpose. We filmed those few days and we were kind of setting up. We didn't really go out and get good footage to post. We don't have anything.
We really don't have anything.
No, that's why I don't know why you don't be worried or.
I'm not worried about it.
There's literally nothing yet. We haven't done anything yet.
No, I know. I'm not worried about it. I just think you might.
Sorry.
Well, you've been here for everything though.
I'm gonna help out as much as I can, but I'm not.
There have been a lot of hours put into this, I think.
Yeah. And a lot more to come, but. I'm not worried. Basically, I'm saying I'm not worried. The hours we have put in were not wasted.
Well, I did stuff about you too.
Who inspires me?
Yeah, who made you want to make beats?
It's like a really cliche thing, but it was Nick Mira.
I kind of thought you'd say that, and I think I totally understand why, because he's sick.
And I think that's the same for a lot of guys, but also because he's the best in the business, and also because he did it at such a young age, and he it's kind of nuts to think about, but he's making millions of dollars, and he's a big star, but he still puts YouTube videos out for just guys to watch him work.
I don't think, does he...
beats that, and he does Twitch streams, beats that eventually, like J-Lo, get placed, he shows how he made it on, not all guys do that.
No.
Now they have started doing it because there's, deconstructed videos and stuff, but he really, does the full session on YouTube, and you just watch him work. And that
I think it's because he wants people to learn from him.
It was a weird thing for me. It was like an all of a sudden one day. It was during quarantine. It was all of a sudden one day. I was like, I stumbled across a deconstructed video, I think, and I just said like, I want to see if I can do that.
You used to make beats back in the day, didn't you?
Well, that's how it started, though.
I only started over quarantine.
Did you make beats like before the mixes, before everything? Did you say you made beats like 4 years ago? And that's
No. I started over quarantine right before.
Wait, so why'd you have that program then on your laptop?
I downloaded it right before we moved into Beechwood. Over that quarantine.
Oh, you're staying at your house, not the quarantine when we were all.
No. Oh, at my house.
Because you said
during COVID, after we got sent home from Spruce.
Yeah, why'd you stop doing it when we got back to Beechwood until we started doing the mixes?
I didn't stop doing it. I made beats all the time at Beechwood.
The band made Beechwood, and then you started making the mixes or beats again. Didn't you take like a huge time off from beats?
I took like off at the beginning of the year just because we were making a mix. Whenever we started making a mix, is the only time I didn't make beats because we were doing that.
Sure.
And then I started, but they weren't very good beats, and I mean it just gradually goes. You just get better as.
Plus, when you practice using that program, it doesn't even matter what you're doing. You're doing the mix and all, but you're practicing freaking the program the whole time. You get used to it.
When the first like few months that I had it, like the first 2 months, I thought there was no way I was ever going to be able to use it because it is complicated at first to try and figure it out. And I had to teach myself about music because I'm not like naturally gifted to know. Some guys can have perfect pitch and they can hear that's this note, that's this note, that's this note. I also never played an instrument growing up.
It's also practice.
No, I could never be able to.
It's practice. If you played an instrument, it's practice.
I don't think.
Yeah.
That's how people do it. You just never played.
I never played an instrument. I never did it. I always was big on music, and I could pick up on what sounds good, what sounds bad. This would be a hit. This wouldn't be. But I never played an instrument.
It's like my grandpa knew like all the guitar notes, like whatever. Like,
I didn't know anything about music.
He used to play guitar.
Not a single thing about music. Well, I did percussion in middle school, but like that's almost a joke.
I think that. Have you seen? I was absolutely stunned the other day when I saw Nick Mira. He had a melody going, and he played one over it. He added another instrument, and he played over it on his keyboard. And the first thing that he played sounded insanely good, and he put it in.
Because he can just hear that stuff.
But I think that you will easily be able to do that.
You should learn how to play the piano.
The more
you do it.
I can
you should
hear.
learn how to play the piano. That's what you should do. Piano's awesome.
I think when you get a keyboard or a piano or whatever you're gonna get, you're gonna be able to do it.
I don't know if I'll be able to play piano that well.
That's what that is.
Piano's not.
It is. I know how to click it in.
Piano's a cool.
But you know the note. All you need to know is the note.
And I
it's
even
not like
know.
You need to be playing the piano like Beethoven.
I even know like what I'm going for and like what I want it to sound like.
That's what I said initially.
I really think you should actually learn how to play the piano.
That's the first thing. Remember I told you that at Beechwood? I said I think you should get a piano and learn how to play.
Well, I taught myself it just by not like how to play the piano by clicking, but what music theory is and what chords are and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I learned so I could do it on here.
Bert, if you wanted to become good at the piano, you can learn in 2 months. Like, become very good at the piano.
I mean, eventually I think that would be cool, but I don't think it's necessary. I don't even have one to play on, so I don't think it's necessary.
I think that's the one instrument that's a super cool instrument, and I think it very much goes hand in hand with making beats.
Oh my god, yeah, totally. It does. I
think but I think the guy, like Nick Mira probably is great at the piano.
Oh my god, yeah. He knows exactly.
Like, he probably knows everything about the piano. Like, if he wanted to play a song, like an older song, like not Beethoven, but like a random like song, like an older song in the past, he could probably rip it.
He would know the notes.
He'd probably know.
Yeah.
And if he was looking at a sheet,
can hear.
He'd probably do the song no problem.
Like you could play a song for him and he'll be able to recreate it on the piano.
Like if I give my mom like notes for the piano, she just rips it.
But I also think the notes are a totally different thing. That's like reading music, and that's another thing you'd have to learn. But like your ear, just hearing it, knowing what sounds good, when you get on there, if you gave it some time, I don't think you'd have to know how to read music. You could just hear and listen what sounds good.
Well, that's what I already know how to do.
But reading music,
I know exactly what I want it to sound
like. It is a good skill to learn.
Especially if you want to be in the music industry, you probably should learn how to do music.
You know what?
I always know what I want it to sound like. I just have to click around to find it. But I know what will sound good. I just can't do it on my first try oh, that's an E. I don't know how to do that.
Compared to your first time, can you get it quicker than?
For winter break.
Oh my god, I couldn't do anything when I first.
So
tried.
think about how long ago was that?
March 2020. Is that when we got kicked?
Yeah.
When we were in Spruce was 2020, and we're in November, so it was
Probably
like a year and seven.
Year and a half, pretty much.
But the first few months, I couldn't do a thing.
So
I didn't really pick up and start rolling until.
Pretty much last year at Beechwood, right?
Not even really. This summer, I really started rolling. And not even as much as I'm rolling now.
Yeah, because you're.
I think I just continually, you continually get better if you do it every day.
Because your old beats, these are way better than your old ones.
Oh yeah, my old beats.
Your old ones, I thought the ones at Beechwood I thought were very mediocre.
At the time.
I didn't really like them that much.
At the time, but you also don't like any hard music.
But I like these ones. I enjoy these ones. I tell you I enjoy these ones.
You don't like the hard ones.
The ones you played for me, I liked them.
But some of them are hard.
But the ones you've played for me, I liked. And I told you I liked. I would have told you they sucked.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You gradually get better, and I think in a year's time, these ones are not going to compare to ones that will be made then.
Yeah, they sound less. To me, they sound less like bad quality. Now they actually sound like. It's almost like our mixes, like we're we made like the first mix terrible quality, second mix was better quality, the third mix should be better. It's like over time you get better quality songs.
Naturally, humans get better if they do something every day, no matter what it is.
Yeah, it's like studying. That's why you should learn. You should learn musical notes in the piano.
I know notes. I don't know how to play them with my fingers on a piano.
I'll teach you. I know a few songs on the piano.
But I disagree, actually. I think I could play the piano if I had a keyboard where all the keys are labeled what note is what. Then I could play stuff like that, but I can't see blank white keys and start going nuts.
So, but that's just the beginning. If you, let's say, you label them, that's what my sister did. She labeled every single key. She put the letter on each key, and that's how she played it. And that's what you do at the beginning, but then eventually you're going to say, I don't even need the letters. That's like...
Yeah.
The more you practice, you're not going to need to know which one's which. You're going to know.
It's like the keyboard. Meaning like an actual keyboard. Yeah. Like you were typing on the keyboard. You only need to type your name. You don't need to look at the keyboard. Yeah. Hopefully you guys don't look at your keyboard.
No, but I remember in like 3rd grade I couldn't even do it.
Yeah, now you can.
And it's like you don't even think about it. You know how to do it. I think it's just something that once you start doing it, like you don't even have a piano right now. I think if you got a piano,
muscle memory.
You started at the bottom. You labeled all the keys, did whatever you needed to do. You would work up to playing the piano in like not that long.
I would like to eventually have that though.
Once the brand gets built, once the money starts coming in.
They're like
Love that.
yeah, actually 150 is accurate.
And that's really not.
The nice ones are 230 to
even that
379.
Yeah, those are probably like the fucking mine.
Think about the type of money we're talking about right now. I'm not talking about making $300.
Well, yeah, it's like an easy.
Making hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So I was thinking more like millions of dollars.
Go for that, millions of dollars. Like we're gonna make $1 million. $375. You can't.
But like you said, it takes time. Yeah, fuck it. Think about it. You get like 30,000 views or whatever the fuck it is. You somehow scrape up like $200. Buy that. Get yourself more views. Buy something else.
That's why.
But you have to pick what you have to buy first.
You do.
It's another big thing. So like if you see that measly 150, you get 150 off of doing that. That's awesome. You just got yourself a keyboard to make better music. 150 sounds like nothing, but it's something.
I think it's just like another skill as an accessory. But yeah,
that helps out a lot. Because that gives you a second.
In comparison to millions of dollars, I think that's like nothing. Thanks for tuning in to the first ever Already Famous podcast. Please reach out to us on social media at Already Famous Collective if this is something you would like to be a part of. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications for more podcasts and studio footage. We'll see you next time.
I'm Mr. Booby Buyer. I'll buy all those boobies for 20 shekels.